The film begins with the voice of the sovereign of Krakens expressing that while people have consistently attempted to investigate the secrets of the submerged world, there are sure confusions that they have. For example, Krakens aren't immense boat destroyers yet powerful fighters. In the town of Oceanside, Ruby Gillman is a youthful Kraken residing on a superficial level world with her folks Agatha and Arthur. In addition to younger siblings Sam and pet squid Nessie, Agatha is a realtor while Arthur runs an ASMR channel for individuals who like making ships in a container. Ruby's closest companions are Margot, Rapture and Trevin. They are good to go to prom, which will be hung on a boat, but since Agatha restricts Ruby from going close to the water, she and her companions have passed up numerous occasions. Ruby neglects to persuade Agatha to allow her to go to prom, yet chooses to take a risk to ask out her crush Connor, whom she is mentoring in number related. Ruby's companions give her a confetti cannon to use as a proposition for Connor, yet before she can utilize it he says individuals ought to just ask each other. He then sees the confetti cannon and takes it from Ruby just to shoot himself in the face with confetti that makes him slip on his skateboard over a railing and into the water. Ruby reluctantly endeavors to hop in and save Connor, and when she bounces into the water she starts sparkling purple and a heartbeat goes across the sea. After some battle, Ruby figures out how to pull Connor to the surface. A horde of spectators encompass Connor as they accept another person saved him. The new young lady around Chelsea Vander Zee begins to assume praise for saving Connor. Similarly, as Ruby attempts to converse with him, her left hand begins shining. Ruby hurries to the library to attempt to call her mother, yet she develops to an enormous size and obliterates the library prior to hurrying to stow away from a distance. Agatha sees her girl's huge structure and races to help her. She runs into her sibling Brill, who was sent by their mother to find Ruby since they felt the beat submerged. Agatha and Brill find Ruby taking cover behind the beacon. Agatha makes sense of to Ruby that this is typical for themselves and that she shouldn't feel like a beast. Ruby psychologists back to her ordinary size prior to returning home, where Agatha lets Arthur know what occurred before Brill leaves. Ruby hears him contending with Agatha over staying quiet about this. From Ruby follows Brill to the water where he gives everything away on her grandma. She follows him submerged and becomes gigantic again before Brill takes her to the Kraken realm to meet the sovereign who demands Ruby called her grandmama. She clarifies for Ruby the historical backdrop of the Krakens and how the mermaids are their most despised foes because of a conflict from sometime in the past. The mermaid sovereign Nerissa endeavored to lead the sea utilizing the pike of Oceanus, yet Agatha retaliated and ousted the mermaids anyway. As opposed to succeeding grandmama for the lofty position, Agatha decided to reside on a superficial level world. When grandmama presents Ruby to the remainder of the Krakens as her replacement, she overreacts and escapes. As Ruby leaves, she falls into a snare spread out by hard mariner Gordon Beacon, who is fixated on getting a Kraken. After Ruby was spotted by spectators before, not long before he endeavors to explode her, Chelsea liberates Ruby, uncovering herself as a mermaid. While Chelsea attempts to become friends with Ruby, she winds up escaping back home. At school, everyone is discussing the Kraken locating. Ruby tracks down Chelsea and attempts to find support with mixing in with others. They return submerged together, where Chelsea shows Ruby a progression of flows where the spear is being kept. Chelsea says she needs to help the mermaids, recommending she is Nerissa's little girl and that she needs to make things right. She persuades Ruby that they can end the conflict among Krakens and mermaids, assuming they get the harpoon back. Ruby attempts to swim through the flows yet continues to get tossed back. She returns to grandmama to figure out how to use her capacities, for example, swimming better and utilizing laser eyes. While Ruby and Chelsea begin to hang out, additional Ruby starts ignoring her companions in the mean time. Gordon goes on the chase after the Kraken and requests chips in, so Arthur, Brill and Sam go along with him and use Nessie to fool him into believing he's gotten a Kraken child. During an open local party that Agatha is tossing, Ruby attempts to persuade her that she and Chelsea are companions and that they can end the Kraken mermaid quarrel, yet Agatha says Chelsea is risky. Ruby gets rankled and becomes colossal again, obliterating the house. Prior to returning to the sea, Agatha follows and returns to her mom, saying that Marissa's little girl is controlling Ruby until grandmama says Nerissa never had a girl. They understand Ruby is in a difficult situation. Ruby figures out how to swim through the flows and recover the spear. When she presents it to Chelsea, the mermaid uncovers her genuine nature by saying she was dependable in Nerissa and can now get back at the Krakens. She develops to tremendous and starts to threaten the waters as the prom boat is missing above. She likewise leave Ruby covered under rocks until Brill drops by to free her. Grandmama and Agatha ascend to face Nerissa while everybody on the on-boat observers the Battle as Nerissa causes a monster wave. Ruby ascends up to save her companions, uncovering herself to them finally, yet Margot Ecstasy and Trevin thinks she looks cool. Ruby momentarily battles Nerissa prior to joining her mother and grandmother to collaborate and obliterate the harpoon together. They fire their laser eyes immediately to explode the harpoon, depowering Nerissa and allowing her to get caught by Gordon. Ruby psychologists and joins the prom, saying sorry to her companions for not coming clean with them, but rather they pardon her and believe she's more wonderful. As wrap up of her cohorts, she and Connor then begin to move. The Gillmans become more fruitful and famous since it is now so obvious what they truly are. Connor has joined Ruby's companion bunch now that they seem, by all accounts, to be dating. When Ruby figures out there is more difficulty submerged, she burns through no time in bouncing in and going full Kraken, and the film closes here. Please subscribe to my channel. Thank you.